Instructions? You gotta be kidding. Who needs to follow instructions? Clean my fender, shine my shoe, what great things I am gonna do, 'cause I'm the best you ever seen, top man in the world I need. Instructions don't mean nothing to me. You know what I mean is, rules is for people who can't think for themselves.
All right, boys, load 'em up. The canned goods for the restaurant go in truck number 1. You put the cow manure for the garden shop in truck number 2.
I'm used to getting instructions. It's how I learned this. If you want it to come out so you can eat it, you follow the instructions. I find it's the same at work after school. You get instructions on the things you're expected to do on the job.
You're going to be busy for a while, May. I'm going to put
You always get basic instructions. Working hours, breaks, lunch, vacation policies, when to come to work.
Ah, the artless art. Point the camera, push the button, and you have a picture. A child can do it, but not well, maybe. You have to know cameras, lenses, depth of field, film type, composition, shutter speed, developing techniques. Oh, you could go on forever. To do it right, you need basic instructions in almost everything, whether it's a hobby or a job. I've worked in a couple of companies now, and they all give instructions. Usually you get booklets telling you what the policies are, at least in big companies.
John, our normal work week here is 36 hours, except, of course, when you're on a crash program. Now, we like our people to be here at 9 a.m. sharp. Now, is there anything in the book that I didn't cover that you'd like to know about?
Of course, besides company policies, you always get definite instructions on how to do your job.
Now, these are normal tape routines. Now, sooner or later, you will have to...
Chip, I want you to take truck number 1 with the canned goods down to the Beverly restaurant. You get there by taking Broadway all the way north until it meets Clark. Then continue on Clark to 3100 North. I'll write all the particulars down on a copy of the sway bill.
Took his paints out to the countryside and eventually really ran off to sea.
One thing you learn in this class is that the great painters didn't always follow the rules, but they usually learned them first.
Came through to him. He didn't have
I'm learning painting from an instructor. You can't get away from it. I mean, you have to start somewhere. I'd learned basic filing techniques in school, but when I came here, I had to learn to do things their way. It was all spelled out in a book they gave me. After I'd used the system a while, I understood why it's done that way. Almost always, the company has given a lot of thought to the work procedure and found the most effective way to do it.
Amy, I've got a meeting over at Fairview for about an hour. Let's see, while I'm gone, get a letter off to Hartwig. Tell him we can give him 2,300 at 15 and give him the standard close.
When I get a verbal instruction on my job, I always write it down.
Here are your instructions, Chip.
The way they treat me around here, you'd think I was an idiot. Write it down. What have I got a brain for?
Even with all the instructions you get, you're not just a robot. Instructions are guides to help you. But you have to think ahead, use judgment. Part of my job is pacing the meal, getting each course out at the right time, so there's a nice, relaxed flow to the meal. That's up to me.
Hello, boss. About that restaurant delivery you wanted me to make this morning. I'm looking all around here, but I don't see a restaurant anywhere. I tried to follow all those directions you gave me, you know. But,
Sometimes you'll run into problems that your instructions don't cover. Like once in a while, you'll get a garbage readout from the computer.
Boss, there's something wrong with this last reading. It must be the 3213.
No, that can't be. But I'll find out what it is. When my instructions don't cover the problem, I ask questions.
Hi, Bob. Have a seat.
Mr. Randolph, I've been having a problem. I think it's smart to ask questions. Of course, it's not very smart to ask the same question 5 times. So I take notes. If you follow instructions, other people can count on you. That's teamwork.
Look, on every job you're going to get instructions. You'll be expected to understand them and to follow them. If they're oral instructions, write them down. If you don't understand, ask somebody who knows.
Chip, before I let you go, would you answer just one question?
sure, boss.
Chip, why?
I was just following orders.
Thanks, Chip, and goodbye.
Why follow instructions? Well, it's the best way I know to do the job right.
Thanks a lot, Amy. Good work.
When I do it right, it gives me more confidence, and I like that.
Helen, I found out the problem.
You follow instructions, chances are you're going to do your job right. And when that happens, you get ahead. That's what I am after.
I want to thank you very much. It was a fantastic dinner.
When I follow instructions and do my work well, I'm happy, the customers are satisfied, and my boss is happy. It's not that hard. Besides, it has its advantages.
I didn't need that crummy job anyway, man. I'm so right, and they're so wrong. In spite of them, I'll get along. Now I'll move on from job to job. A guy without instructions is the world's biggest. I'm so right. right. And they're so wrong. In spite of them, I'll get along. Yeah, I'll move on from job to job. A guy without instructions is the world's biggest.
Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show. I just noticed there's a ceiling tile that's loose right there. Need to get to that. I'm in the basement of my house, and this is where we watch old 16mm films that are in the AV Geeks collection. This one is one that we actually showed live. This is a telecine, and so I actually was digitizing the film as we were watching it and broadcasting it to you live. Oh, Chip. So I kind of question the validity of using a Fonzie-like character to talk about how to follow directions and how not to follow directions, because Fonzie had such an incredible cachet with young people, maybe not at high school age, but certainly my age. I had a Fonzie poster. It was probably one of my first posters I ever had, a Fonzie poster. He was cool. So, anyways, what a weird way to start that film. I got to seek out the other ones in that series because I'm wondering if they are equally as odd and have songs. But that was made for cornet by somebody else, so that's kind of interesting. Don Klugman. Not Jack Klugman, but Don. All right, so we're watching 16mm films. We are not going to talk about the election today, but I will just say this one thing. It is clear that I need to keep showing these films to as many people as possible because some people are kind of a little foggy about some of the basics with civics, science, human interaction, how diseases are transmitted. There's a little kind of a gray area there, and I feel like maybe this is what I need to continue doing to kind of get that word out. So these films are not only funny, but they actually do have some interesting information to impart to the world. Speaking of which, this next film is a promotional film for a religious film company called Cathedral Films. And the religious film market was a big market. There was a lot of money to be made in that market. And so there were quite a few religious educational film companies out there. And so this is a brochure ad for Cathedral Films. So here's New Doorways to Learning.
Do you remember your first Sunday school lesson card? Most of us do. We studied them and saved them, and on rainy days, we took them out and looked at them one by one. We didn't know it then, but they were probably our first introduction to visual aids. Of course, there were others even then. The big chart on the easel that Miss Baxter used to struggle with. And the wonderful magic lantern machine that no one could touch but Mr. Fowler, the Sunday school superintendent. Those were the visual aids that some of us can recall. In their time and in their way, they helped to open the door to knowledge and understanding. The great story, the wonderful lessons and truths that were learned still remain. But the Miss Baxters and Mr. Fowlers of today have better aids at their disposal. Film strips and sound motion pictures. tape and disc recordings. They can never replace the Miss Baxters and Mr. Fowlers of today or of the future, and in no sense are they meant to do so. But properly used, they can be efficient tools to aid the great task of religious education. They can make it more effective, more vivid, more lasting. No matter how large or small a church may be, audiovisual aids can be of valuable assistance throughout almost every phase of its activities. In religious education, Bible study, in evangelism, stewardship, missionary instruction, in youth groups, church fellowship, in service and worship. Since the use of audiovisual material is not a separate part of the church program, but an effective aid to each current phase, its use should not be careless and haphazard, but studied and planned. Perhaps the most effective method is to appoint a committee on audiovisual use. Study of their own church's program will then show where the new aids can best augment and support the work to be done. Catalogs and magazines specializing in religious education will aid them. A monthly letter evaluating all new material is published by the Visual Education Fellowship, Division of Christian Education, National Council of Churches. Film libraries are located in key cities throughout the United States. There, skilled librarians will gladly advise you and give full assistance in the preparation of your audiovisual program. The choice of available material is practically unlimited. Film strips, recordings, sound motion pictures, many in color, are produced by both denominational and independent agencies. They can be obtained directly from any of the experienced distributors, or for those churches in the more remote areas, by parcel post, express, airmail, or bus. Using audiovisuals is far more than merely showing pictures. Church leaders and church school teachers should be instructed in their effective use, often by a special subcommittee. These essential points should be followed. 1. Study program of church. 2. Provide an audiovisual budget. 3. Appoint audiovisual coordinator. 4. Conduct leadership training. 5. Train a group of operators. The film strip not only illustrates lessons or lectures, but has the advantage of projecting material for any period necessary for complete examination and explanation. The greatest story ever told. And today, through the wonder of the modern motion picture, the majestic prose of the Bible comes to life before your eyes. The well-known names of the Old Testament become living, breathing people.
An excellent toast, Haman. I observe you did not join us. Is there a reason?
Yes, Your Majesty. I meant no discourtesy, but there is something that I have to ask of you. And when you've heard my petition, you'll understand the reason for my action. Have I Your Majesty's permission to speak?
Yes, Queen Esther. What is your petition? It shall be given you even to the half of the kingdom.
If I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king, let my life and the life of my people be given me, for we are doomed. If we had been sold as slaves, I'd have held my peace, for the distress would not have been worthy of disturbing the king. But instead of being consigned to slavery, we have been condemned to death.
I don't understand. Who are your people? And why are they to be destroyed?
We are the Jews, who are to be slain by decree on the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. And the decree was signed by no other than the Prime Minister of your land, Haman.
But, Your Majesty, I didn't know that you were...
Silence!
And, Your Majesty, it is Haman who signed the decree condemning me to death that has built the scaffold on which to hang Mordecai, the Jew who saved your life in the garden.
Is this true?
Yes, Your Majesty, but Mordecai refused to bow before me.
You fool!
Your Majesty!
Films dealing with New Testament subjects are also available. And Jesus answering said, "A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead."
And about this time, a certain priest came by, and when he saw him, he went by on the other side. And also a man called the Levite came by, and he stopped and looked at him. Then he too went by on the other side. And then Jemuel, a Samaritan, came along, and when he saw him, he stopped.
What has happened? I found him on the lower road. He was attacked by robbers. They took everything he had. Does he still live? Yes, but his wounds are deep. He doesn't remember anything. Well, come, let us take him in.
These films are especially rewarding when used for church school instruction. More advanced classes will take equally keen interest in films that are not only dramatically effective, but biblically correct.
Zacchaeus, make haste and come down. Today I must abide at thy house.
Why does he stay with him? Does he not know that Zacchaeus is a despised public?
At my house? You would stay with me?
The inspiring stories of the great apostles are recreated before your eyes.
To the north lay Galatia and Pamphylia, and Saul, now using the name of Paul, determined to bring the word to the towns and cities of those lands. Perga, once a port, now lay inland, barred from the open sea by mudflats and marshes.
Just follow the creek 2 leagues and you'll reach Perga. Somewhere on the far side, there's a caravan road.
We'll inquire about that in the morning.
If you'll take my advice, you'll be well along it by daybreak.
We've work to do in Perga first.
Forget it. The whole town is cursed by these poison mists that bring on the fever. You'll not be safe until you reach the highlands beyond.
May the peace of our Lord go with you.
And with you.
These mists reek of the fever.
Only because it's dark. With the sun shining, you'd smell nothing but swamp and bad water. Come, friends, only 2 leagues, then we can rest.
I've heard of these fogs. The sickness comes from breathing them. A sickness that can mean death.
Men live in Perga.
Yes, but they're used to it and we're not.
You told me that Christ went into the home of a leper.
Yes, but...
Are we to turn back at every cry of fever? Interest in civic affairs and correlated subjects can be enhanced by motion pictures that are both inspiring and entertaining.
Babs has brought up a question that's more in your line than it is in mine.
That sounds drastic. What's the problem?
What's the difference between a democracy and a republic?
Well, the terms as they're used today are practically synonymous. But in their basic sense, a democracy means government by majority choice. And a republic places authority in representatives chosen by the people.
Well, isn't that the same thing?
Well, not quite. Suppose our city government was a democracy. If the majority of people voted to close the schools, the city council and the mayor would have to comply.
I'm in favor of that.
Well, Judy would be too, I imagine. But our American government is a republic. So we have a city council made up of men chosen by their various districts. Men who study the issues, debate them, have expert advice, and vote accordingly.
Using their own wisdom and judgment, instead of the blind guide of majority rule.
Oh, I see.
Then you'd better scoot off and write it down before you forget it.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mr. Baker.
You're welcome, Babs.
The missionary program of your church is made vital and realistic as motion pictures bring the most remote portions of the world to your screen. Special pictures augment evangelism.
Come in.
Hello, Mike.
What do you want?
I came over to tell you something.
Well, tell it.
Okay, two things. First, you've got your job back.
I got my job back. Well, what's that to you? You'd been minding your business in the first place, I wouldn't have lost it. Now you come around big-hearted, like you fixed it. And what's the other thing?
I wanted to talk to you about joining the church.
Don't be silly. The only reason I'd let you in here is there's something I want to settle with you. You see that? If I let go, I could break your neck. Scare you?
No.
So you won't fight? Are you yellow? Or are you trying to be a Christian?
Oh, Mike, we got ourselves into this jam. The guy that really ought to be mad is Weber. He didn't do anything, and yet you heard him confess his sins. You heard him when they carried him away. He didn't hold anything against us. And that got me thinking, what kind of a guy am I? Tried to figure it out by myself. Finally, I went and talked to the pastor about it. Weber did something to me, Mike. I'm going his way.
Well, what's that to me? What do I care?
Oh, I know. I didn't care either. I thought the only way to settle arguments was to slug them out. I found you only got into more trouble. And now all of a sudden I see another way. I find out that God is interested in helping Harley Russell and Mike Morris.
Then I suppose everything gets real easy like, huh?
No, you still have your troubles. Then you have Christ to help you work them out.
Are you trying to tell me that God's got time to look out for each little guy?
No, Mike, I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm just asking you to find out for yourself.
Stewardship programs within your church can be inspired too.
2 years ago, I was a new member on the council, and I felt exactly as you do. Since then, I've learned that although our congregation centers in Elmwood, it actually reaches out into all parts of the world where the church is at work.
We had a similar discussion 2 years ago, Mr. Wilson. George is stressing something that we're beginning to understand. It's God's business, not our own, we're here to do. And God's business is worldwide.
I've reached another decision, Pastor.
I'm going to give the fullest use of my time, my ability, and my possessions to the work of the Lord. I'm going to take that stewardship job because I'm sure that in helping others to understand what they must do, in a way, I'll be saying thank you to God for his goodness to me. All these years, I've been blind to the blessings that have come from him every day. Then he brought a very dramatic blessing into my own home. Faith in him made my daughter walk. Yes, it took something that big to make me see.
Most of us are blind, George, until Jesus makes us see. Remember when the blind men sought Jesus and he stopped and called to them and said, "What do you want me to do for you?" And they said to him,
"Lord, let my eyes be opened."
And Jesus touched their eyes, and immediately they received their sight and followed him.
Yes, Pastor. And now I see.
Yes, motion pictures can even make you and your fellow church members eyewitnesses to the most crucial and dramatic event in the entire history of man. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon hyssop and put it to his mouth.
Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. It is finished.
Studies and surveys have proved that present-day audiovisual aids can open the door to understanding more easily, thoroughly, and effectively than ever before. Modern equipment, moderately priced, is of excellent quality. The picture you are watching, the sound you have been hearing, is a direct example. We of Cathedral Films hope that they will become a daily and continuing asset to your church program. Educational, instructive, inspirational.
I love films that are ads for other films, and especially this one. It kind of spells out the whole religious film market and what the different genres of films would be that they would be making and trying to interest churches in buying. I mean, really, this is to make money. That's ultimately what this is they are making money off of this. I did think I wanted to show maybe another film called Music for Our Church, which is a promotional film for organs. I think it's Hammond organs. But it's long. I'll show it again at some other point. But it's, again, you show it to your church board. You get them excited about it, and then the salesman pulls out the little invoice and tries to make a sale. Yeah. So great. Okay, so next film. This is part of our ongoing series of the Inside Out series, which is a 70s film series that was made by different regional educational TV stations with support from Exxon. Thank you, Exxon. And these are films that most of them are open-ended, and most of them deal with emotions. It's all about emotions. It's not about math. It's not about science, English. It's about what you're feeling, whether it is joy, anger, sadness, anxiety, grief, all these things that kids were exposed to. And so this was the opportunity for this was that you would show this, and then you would have kids in class talk about what they saw and how they feel about it and all that stuff. You kind of start talking about the feels. And there's some phenomenal films in this series that I've shown, and there's also ones that they're all pretty good, but there are some that are just over the top. So this one's a pretty good one. So this is Can I Help?
Welcome to the park, boys and girls. I'm Park Ranger Bob Kemp, and I work here, and I work for the National Park Service, and we're glad that you could come with your class. All right, we're going to be seeing a lot of different things here today, and while we're here talking about the history of the fort, I want you to be very careful because we have some dangerous places here, and I don't want you to... Okay, step back, everybody.
Can I help
Get
you?
back, girls. Come on. All right, get back over here. I'll help you. Here, step back. Let me help you. Okay, I can do that. Okay.
What are you guys laughing at? He fell down. And what's so funny about that?
Okay, you've just seen what happened to Mike, and in the future, when we go through the fort, I want you all to stick together. We're going in some dangerous places, and I want you to be careful. Does everyone understand this? Okay, let's go into the fort. Telling you about the battle that took place here as soon as the group catches up. The battle here was very, very fierce, and the Confederates came up over the rise, and then the Union soldiers were in charge of this cannon here. Most of the people who were hurt, there were hundreds of people hurt, and most of them who died not from the actual wound, but because there was no one to help them to clean out the wounds and
If
to
I was
stop
there, I
the
could
bleeding.
help. What could you have
No
done?
medics, nurses.
I could have kept their
Died
wounds
of
clean
infection.
so they wouldn't have blood
Shot in his
going
hand.
over their body. Blood? You can't even stand the sight Why can't you stand the sight of blood? I could have cleaned their wounds. I had first aid, and they wouldn't have stand the
stupidest thing I ever heard. You wouldn't have run away if there were any real danger.
I would not have.
There's a lot of difference between pretending and really helping them.
But I would have helped and I could have.
You're so silly.
Oh, just ignore them. Come on, we gotta catch up with the group.
Turn the priest back!
could have helped. Come on, Lisa! Come on, let's go! Hi! What were you doing over there? Just thinking about the battle. Did I miss anything? Oh, no. The guy was just talking about some battles and houses and stuff. Nothing very interesting, though.
And here we have a Remington Model 44 that the Army officers might have carried with them. And this last bottle, we were talking about the other bottles, this last bottle probably had medicine in it. And it's found here in the park. If you all go out into the park and if you find anything, please be sure to turn the bottles back to us so that we'll have them, because if you find something, we need to keep it in our artifact collection. I think that's about it.
Okay, I think this is a good time. We can take a 45-minute break for lunch now, class, and I'm sure Mr. Kemp is hungry also. Go around, look for artifacts, whatever you want to do, but be sure to be back here by 1 o'clock because we have some more things to do.
Well, I'm going to find some of that needle stuff.
I wonder if Jamie will find something. Do you really think there's stuff buried in the forest around here? I guess so. That's what the park ranger said. Well, then let's go find some. No. These places have been wiped out long ago. Well, maybe we'll find a sword or something neat. No, I don't want to go. I doubt if you'll find anything anyway. Oh, come on, let's go. No, I really don't feel like it. You can go, though. All right, then I will. Okay, so be back in about 45 minutes. See you at 1 o'clock.
What are you doing here? Looking for some old Civil War stuff. Found anything? No, just some old beer cans.
I haven't had any luck either. It's 1 o'clock. We better get back. We're going to another part of the park.
No, I'm going to see the cliffs first.
But you'll be late.
Don't worry. Tell the others I'll be back later.
Silly boy. can't get down! I can't help you! I'll try, but I'm gonna fall! Amy, I can't get down! I've got to go get help! Stop! Leave me! I've got to leave! I've got to get help!
Do.
Come to the woods so you can help him. I couldn't help him. I tried, but I couldn't.
Listen, there have been too many pranks in this neighborhood for me to go running through the woods and find nobody there.
No, ma'am, this is no joke. He's really hurt. You've got to come.
I don't have to do anything. Now, will you get out of here?
Please, ma'am.
I don't want to hear another word. Get out of here or I'll call my dog.
Mister, we're on a class trip and the boy fell off a cliff and no one will help me and he fell and he hurt and you've got to come, please.
All right, calm down. Now you say a boy fell off a cliff?
Yes.
The one's over in the park?
The one's near the bar. You've got to come, please.
Okay. Now, do you think he's hurt badly?
I don't know. He says he can't move his leg. It's been near a tree.
Okay, calm down. Do you think I could get down there to help him?
I don't know. I tried and I couldn't.
All right, can you calm yourself down enough to show me where he is?
Yes.
Okay, take me there.
Please hurry.
Okay? Ropes okay? You got the belly ropes undone? Right. Right. We're all ready to go. Okay, Jan, I think we're ready. Okay, everybody ready? Seems to be pretty secure. Count 3, we'll lift him. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice and easy. Take him up. Right. Steady. Hey, go on, Saul. Right, okay?
Why did you run away? Why didn't you help me? But I did help you. I did everything I knew how.
Inside Out is a series of programs and related materials developed and supported by 32 educational agencies in the United States and Canada, with additional support from Exxon Corporation. This program was produced by WNVT, Northern Virginia Educational Television, under the supervision of NIT, National Instructional Television.
Man, that girl could not catch a break. And then that neighbor lady. Too many pranks. Wow. Thank you, Frank, for the coffee. That was much needed. Caffeine is what keeps me going. Keeps many of us going. And some of you that joined us yesterday, you saw the negative impact of caffeine, but you know what? I'll take it. Caffeine, fat, sugar, I'll take it. Although I do take my coffee black. All right. Anyways, so you can see like that Inside Out episode, Can I Help? It's all about, you know, it's intense and it's provocative, and then at the end it's like, all right, let's talk about, like, if you were her, what would you do, and what's the situation, and, you know, did she help, or, you know, was the kid that fell down the side of the cliff. Was he wrong? Of course he was wrong. But it's all about exploring those feelings, etc. Yeah, again, I love these films. Somebody pointed out that a bunch of these films that I show are from 1972, which seems like a golden age for the educational film. So there you go. I'm going to leave you with some light content to kind of soften the day. These are TV trailers. So these are like 1 minute, 30-second trailers that were shown on television advertising films at the time. And I've shown many over the last 8 months, 7 months. I don't know how long I've been down here. But here's some more. Enjoy.
In Athens, Greece, the wife and children of a rich American industrialist are kidnapped and held captive in an isolated mountain monastery.
I will do nothing until I get proper food and treatment for my children.
An impenetrable fortress 5,000 feet above the city. There is no way to approach it without being killed, except from above. Now, the death-defying sport of hang gliding is the ultimate movie adventure, Skyriders. An astounding film of aerial escape and rescue. It is the one adventure that soars above them all. James Coburn, Susanna York, Robert Culp, Charles Aznavour, and the Skyriders. Men and women who can fight and fly. Rated PG.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment we will witness something never seen before. We remember her as a promising athlete who suffered a tragic setback last season.
She's blind, or isn't she? At least now she reports seeing some light and shadows.
Doing excellent.
It took a lot of pain.
It's pointless and cruel.
It took a lot of strength.
Not trying is pointless and cruel.
It took a lot of courage.
Well, I did that when I could see.
Give her a chance to be something.
And most of all, it took a lot of love.
Please welcome back Alexis Winston,
Robbie Benson, Lynn Holly Johnson, in the story of a girl who refused to forget that she was once a champion. Ice Castles, rated PG.
She can't see, but she can still skate.
It took a lot of pain.
It's pointless and cruel. Not trying is pointless and cruel.
It took a lot of courage.
Well, I did that when I could see.
Give her a chance to be something. She is something.
And most of all, it took a lot of love. The story of a girl who refused to forget she was once a champion. Ice Castles, rated PG.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment we will witness something never seen before in the history of athletics. We remember her as a promising Olympic contender who suffered the loss of her vision in a tragic accident last season. Tonight she stands before you, ready to compete again. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back a very brave young athlete.
The story of a girl who refused to forget she was once a champion. Ice Castles, rated PG.
Here comes the wackiest movie ever made. The wackiest wagon train in the West. Bob Denver from Gilligan's Island. Forrest Tucker from F Troop. Wagons! Ho! Whoa! Gilligan was never this wacky. It's the wackiest movie you'll ever see. The wackiest wagon train in the West. Rated G for all ages from 6 to 16.
Wow, that ended sooner than I thought. I was going to close out the day with that, but you know what? I'm going to close out the day with this. I'm probably going to play this once a week. Some of you love this, some of you hate this, but this is a local singer-songwriter wrote I don't know, we kind of thought it felt a little like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but it was also kind of disco-y. But this is his take on Shake Hands with Danger. Yeah, enjoy.
I can check that gear in a minute, so don't touch anything, okay?
Hey! Get down from there! Now! Hey! Turn it over!
What if it bumped that control by accident? You'd be mincemeat by now. What have I told you? You don't work on equipment when the engine's running.
Well, I told him not to touch anything. All right, I guess I wasn't thinking.
You weren't thinking? You mean you'll work on engines and machinery and not think of your own personal safety? Here. Shake hands with Danger.
Shake hands with danger. Meet a man you ought to know. I used to laugh at safety. Now they call me Three-Fingered Joe. I was young and feisty. Never did things by the book. Just let me get my toolbox and I'll take myself a look. I climbed up on a dozier with my mechanic's pride. Said, you can keep it running, friend, while I poke around inside. Shake hands with danger, meet a guy you ought to know. I used to laugh at safety, now they call me Three-Fingered Joe. Although I learned a lesson, I forgot it soon enough. The nicks and burns and scratches showed the young ones I was tough. Till another morning I was grinding on some steel. My other hand got careless and fed my skin into the wheel. Shake hands with danger, step right up and say hello. Grinding wheels and metal are what made me Three-Fingered Joe. I've seen mechanics burning and I've seen them take a fall just to save themselves a minute. I've seen them lose it all. I've watched them courting trouble, seen them take a chance and lose. They get careless for a moment and spend a lifetime with the blues. Shake hands with some friends I used to know. Compared to them, I'm lucky to be just Three-Finger Joe. It's good for what ails you. I really that little musical break interlude where they're saying, you know, poke around inside, poke around inside. It's so good. That was Scott Phillips and Greg. I can't remember his bandmate's name, but they also do a band called Nowhere, which is kind of electronic indie rock band. And Scott Phillips does a lot of projects like this. So, and he's a fan of AV Geeks, so it means a lot to have him do it. Anyways, thanks everybody so much for tuning in today. I know there's lots to tug on your attention, a lot of anxiety out in the world, but I appreciate. I hope we provided a little bit of brief recess, and that's what we're going to keep doing. We're just going to keep going. I'm going to show films because we have so many to show you, and I have so many to go through. And the first film I showed, Follow Instructions, I've never seen that one before. So there's lots of little gems or not so gemmy, full gold types of things out there, and I'm happy that you are here to watch them with me and comment on. And please take care of yourself. Please reach out to friends and family. This is a tough time. If you like what you saw, hit like, subscribe. If you want to buy us coffee, that is a wonderful way to show support and to energize my neurons. Also, you can go to avgeeks.com and see other things that we've done over the years. We have thousands of films online, and also all the previous episodes of the streaming show are there. You can also brain freeze. I need some more coffee. You can also buy DVDs there. One last thing, masks save lives. I have films about it, so you know it's super easy. Wear a mask. That's all. PSA. As always, I look inside the film for advice, and it tells me to love each other and to please rewind the films. And most can say that, except for the ones that say don't rewind. Please don't rewind. But this one says please rewind, and there's a little peace sign. So everybody have a good rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, take care.